can sharpen their research skills. So very good afternoon to all of our students who have joined this session. Almost about 40, yeah? There are about 40 students who have joined this session. So I really hope that at the end of this session, you'll be able to understand the importance of research and how to conduct basic research, right? And of course, first of all, I need to understand what is research, all right? So can any students like to share what do you understand by the word research? And have you done any research? And any students like to share? What do you think about research? There are almost about 40 plus students. Yeah, first of all, students, probably can I get some response from you? What level are you? Most of you, some students, can you go to the chat room, can provide some response or not? What level are you? Are you from a diploma or bachelor? Can I get some response from students? Degree, diploma, degree. So I guess a majority are degree students, right? So I believe there are more degree students compared to diploma, right? Yeah, so students, so any idea, what do you understand by research? And have you done any research or not? Anyone? Come on, don't be a typical students, right? Don't like be typical Segi students, very quiet, ask any questions, don't want to respond. Yeah, anyone? So maybe I shall call names. Yeah, let me go to chat room. Who is that? Ui Maisie said research on information to get knowledge. Yeah, Maisie, really, that's correct. So research means, according to Maisie, it is to collect information. All right, yes, exactly. Research means it's not mean that you're going to explore like a scientist, you know, like a scientist, you're going to explore something like why the moon's rotating around the earth and so on, all right? There's no such thing as like, you need to be a scientist to do a research, all right? Anyone can do a research, all right? So let's look at what is research. Research is a type of study that focuses on a specific problem and aims to solve it using scientific methods. Research is a highly systematic process that involves both describing, explaining, and predicting something, right? So from here, you can see that basically we conduct a research when there is a problem or some issues that you like to explore. You want to find some answers, right? And these issues or the problem can be just a minor issue, right? Can be a minor issue, or it can be a major issue, can be totally something like a new findings and so on, right? So when you talk about research, don't once again think that research means it's going to be very difficult, it's going to be very high level, or I as a diploma student, I can't conduct any research and so on, right? Let's see Roshan's answer. In order to establish facts and reach a new conclusion. Yeah, exactly. To establish some facts and as well as to reach new conclusions, all right? It can be new conclusions or even can be existing conclusion. Even you can support existing statement, right? Not necessarily must be entirely new. Okay. Anyhow, Roshan is good, huh? All right, a good response from you. Okay, so it means that when you conduct, once again, when you talk about research, remember, even an assignment, I'm sure, for example, like diploma students, you have a lot of assignments, and degree students also, you have a lot of assignments. So when you try to complete an assignment, actually, you are doing a mini research, right? You are exploring some information, right? You try to attempt to answer, and maybe the assignment require you to do case study. So when you do a case study, you want to find some findings for an existing problem or issues, right? So once again, when we talk about research, basically we're focusing on a specific problem and we try to find some solution for the problem. So that's why normally when you do assignment, you're expected to provide some recommendations, some discussions on the issues that you have explored. All right, let's look at the next slide. So what are research skills, right? So when we say research skills, basically it helps us to solve the problem that we encounter in order to find the new findings or solutions. So when you say research skills, it includes the skills to search for information. Remember, whenever you do an assignment, first thing what you need to do, you need to search for information, right? Then searching, finding. So in order, once you find this information, you need to have some kind of findings. But even before findings, you need to collect data, right? Very important. You can need to collect data or information. And I believe majority of you know that basically when you say data, there are two types of data. Okay, anyone can share what are the two types of data? Anyone like to share? When you collect data, basically there are two types of data. Roshan, according to Roshan, primary and secondary. Okay, well done, well done. Okay, yeah, Michelle, Jingwen, fantastic. All right, so that's the answer. Primary as well as secondary data. I hope you know the difference. Huh? Okay, so primary data means you as a researcher, you collect the data. We call it like fresh data. It is by you. So you collect fresh data or new data through a questionnaire, interviews, experiment, and so on. Or you stop at secondary data. Secondary data means you just collect the data from existing sources, all right? So from existing sources such as newspapers, books, articles, journals, and so on. All right, so in turn here she asked a question, Dr. Balu, the differences between searching and finding. Searching is a process, finding is result. Yeah, exactly, Intan. Searching means you search for the information. You search for the search for information. Then findings means the result, the outcome of your research. That will be your finding. Yeah, exactly. All right. Hope that's clear. Okay, so back to this. So primary, between primary and secondary. So secondary means existing sources. Primary is you as a researcher, you collect the data. Of course, it has to be a fresh data in the form of a survey, questionnaire, interviews, and so on. So whether you're going to collect primary or secondary, very much depends on the requirement, right? So you need to look at the assignment question. Does your lecturer require you to collect primary, or you can stop at secondary, okay? And I can tell you that most at the diploma level, most of the assignment involve secondary data, while at a bachelor level, of course, for some modules, especially like University of Sunderland, you need to collect primary data as well, right? So that is depends on the requirement. Then, of course, you need to break down the information, evaluate the relevant information. Then finally, you come to the finding, all right? So the keyword here is this word, evaluating the relevant information. I would say that generally, not I believe there are some lecturers also have joined our session. So I hope lecturers also, you can provide some inputs, right? So inputs or share your experience. Then to enhance the students' knowledge in research, right? So I believe the lecturers will agree with me. Yeah? When we say that, generally our students, they lack of these skills to evaluate the information. Because most of our students, you just take the information. You take the information, then put into your assignment, paraphrase, then you show that as your finding, all right? But generally, when you just take the information, the question is whether the information are reliable or not reliable, okay? And a worst case is that some students, they just take all this information just from one or two articles, all right? So when you take from that one or two articles, first of all, we are not sure whether the information from those articles are valid or not. Something like boleh percaya atau tidak, those information, because anyone can write anything, right? So you should be able to evaluate. So how to evaluate? I'll discuss that soon. So remember class, when you say about your research skills, you should be able to search for information. Then you should be able to collect the data, break down the information, and very important, evaluate the information, right? So in order to evaluate the information, of course, you need to refer to a number of articles, and they must be valid, reliable, and so on. Only then you can claim that your findings are you have some value with your findings, all right? Otherwise, there's always a question mark, whether your findings or your discussion got value or not, when you just refer to one or two articles. So students, if you have any questions, please forward. You can just on your audio, or you can go to the chat room and post your questions. All right, next, why are research skills important? So research skills are a vital part of the writing process because they enable writers to find information and create an outline for their writing project, whether it's a creative or academic writing. And next one, by developing organized and effective research methods, you'll be able to become knowledgeable in any field. I would say that that will be our outcome. When you do a research, especially on the academic writing. So when you do an academic writing, the main purpose is you want to be knowledgeable in that particular field, okay? So example, if you, let's say, do a research in the marketing field. So once you complete the research, let's say the assignment, right? The assignment. So you should have certain knowledge related to that assignment, okay? But whether you have the knowledge or not, again, depends on the quality of the information that you collect, whether you do evaluative research or not. Do you evaluate the information, then you do some argument between, or journal A says this, journal B says this, then you're able to compare and come out with your own come out with your point of view, all right? So again, it all depends on the quality of your research, whether you have that skills or not. If you have the right research skills, then we believe that our students will be able to find relevant information, and the outcome is what? You become knowledgeable in your field, right? So if, let's say, again, if you do an assignment in marketing in a specific area, for example, new product introduction, how a firm introduce a new product, how to make it successful, what are the elements, what are the factors. So if you're able to find relevant information from various journal articles, we are very sure that you will have very good knowledge in terms of NPI, new product information, right? So how to do that, gradually we'll discuss that. Any questions so far? I think so far no one, because just explaining what is research, what are the research skills and so on. Right, let's look at this sample. Sample of assessment at an undergrad level. Yeah, hold on, is there any questions? So far, no, sir. All right, thanks, Roshan. Okay, so a sample of assessment at undergrad level. So let's look at this sample. Let's look at this sample. Huh? your work will be assessed against the following criteria. So let's say for this assignment, the criteria is quite detailed. Okay, considering current controversies and debates that dominate the lack of innovation activities in Malaysia, analyze the type of leadership considered effective in enhancing the innovation activities among the employees in Malaysia. Next, you need to perform a literature review that relevant to the issues of interest, apply the appropriate methodology in collecting and analyzing the data, followed by recommend appropriate strategies for the organizations to implement the right type of leadership that could enhance the innovation activities. As mentioned just now, of course, there are some diploma students, but diploma students, of course, your assignment questions usually will probably not so detailed, where you no need to do collecting and analyzing the data and so on. But we are very sure that all our diploma students one day will progress to a bachelor level, a degree level. So definitely you need this knowledge, all right? So hope our diploma students as well can gather some knowledge related to these research skills. So class, so now, what is the issue that you're going to analyze here? Or what is the problem here? Can anyone quickly go to the chat room, just highlight the problem. What is the problem here? What's the problem that we want to analyze based on this assignment question? Come on, anyone? What is the problem that we need to? The lack of innovation. Yep, lack of innovation. Particularly, we are talking about in Malaysia, right? So considering current controversies and debates that dominate the lack of innovation activities in Malaysia. So as Jia Jun and Roshan mentioned, the issue here is the lack of innovation activities in Malaysia. So as we know, when compared to developed countries, probably like Japan, South Korea, US, and so on, the innovation activities in Malaysia are still lacking, all right? So, of course, we can analyze this issue from many aspects, right? From many aspects. But the question clearly have mentioned here, it is from the leadership approach. So, analyze the type of leadership considered effective in enhancing the innovation activities. So, the question have clearly mentioned is that the students now need to analyze what type of leadership that can be considered as effective in increasing, enhancing the innovation activities among our employees, right? So it is clearly mentioned the type of leadership. All right, now again, let me throw the questions now. What are the type of leadership that you have learned so far? Of course, degree students, probably you after diploma, you have done some topics related to leadership style, probably in organization behavior or human resource management. Yes, come on. What are the types of leadership that we can consider? Strategic leadership. Roshan, strategic leadership means that is like a very general. In order to, strategic leadership means the leadership at a very high level, where they need to come out with a clear vision, mission. So they need to have a very strategic leadership, but it's not the type. Yeah, Nord Mastura, okay, thanks. Lasers Fair, Jia Jun again, democratic leadership, good. So far there are two. How about other types? Come on, about 40, almost 50 have joined the session. Maybe excluding the lecturers, the students. K1, autocratic, yep. Mr. Krishna, right, thanks. Transformational, right? So there are a number of leadership that I have mentioned, such as laissez-faire, democratic, autocratic, visionary, pace setting, not sure whether there's a pace setting or not, right? Coaching, okay. So now the question is, what type of leadership considered effective? That is the question. let me share with you. Most of our students, for example, let's say, for example, K-Guan, he mentioned autocratic. So maybe K-Guan, he knows about autocratic. So first thing what he's in mind, he want to discuss about autocratic. Then what he'll do, he will search for autocratic leadership. So he will see that, okay, whether autocratic leadership is effective or not, all right? Then if let's say he feel, oh, autocratic is not effective, then like Wani mentioned, transactional, right? It can be transactional, transformational. So there are a number of leadership types that you can consider. But the question is very clear, analyze the type of leadership considered effective. So imagine now, imagine if let's say now you start to search for information. So what you will do? The first thing, anyone, what you will do next? Now you know, okay, you need to search for the type of leadership. What are your sources? From where you will search for this information? Maybe the degree students also can, quite a number of you, probably some degree students can contribute. From where do you search for the information related to the type of leadership? Is it just Google search? Or Wikipedia? Jiajun answered, I think very clear, journals, article. Yeah, Roshan, article mean what would be the source? Article from just Google search or Wikipedia? Yeah, okay, just want to share with you from my experience as well as from some lecturers' experience, I believe. Quite a number of our students, they always just go to Google search, all right? Google search, and like Maladi, she shared, Google Scholar, all right? Thanks, Maladi, right, for sharing that Google Scholar. So most of our students, they'll go to Google search, and of course, within Google search, you can search from Google Scholar, okay? So, however, students, it's good you go to Google Scholar. However, when you go to Google Scholar, the number of journal articles that you can download, the full text, the PDF file that you can download are very, very limited, all right? One is very limited. Second one, I don't think you can download the latest articles, especially we're talking about 2018, 2019. Even if you can, it's very limited, all right? So in this case, one of the important research skill is you need to know from where you can get the information, all right? Again, from where you can get the information. Is that Google search or Google Scholar or Wikipedia cukup atau tidak? All right. Of course, the answer is definitely is not enough. It's not enough to get the quality journal articles, right? So like Michael, right? Michael Tan mentioned Sunderland Library. Yeah, that will be much, much better, Sunderland Library. So to that, I'll come back very soon, right? I'll come back to that very soon, from where to get the information, okay? So back to this assignment question, it requires the students to determine the type of leadership. So you need to perform literature review. And I hope everyone understands what is literature review. It means that you need to review the past studies or past research. I repeat, when you say review literature mean, you need to review the past studies or past research, mostly come from journal articles, right? If you review from books, I'll suggest that try to limit the number of books that you search and so on. Usually number of books will just consist like 10% of your total sources. Most of your sources should come from journal articles, less from newspapers, Google search, and so on, okay? Then appropriate methodology in collecting and analyzing the data. Of course, this part I'm not going to touch here, the methodology, because we only have about 2 hours. My focus more on how to find the information, what are the relevant sources, and so on, right? And of course, a good assignment will always require this. Recommend appropriate strategies for the organizations to implement the right type of leadership. So I'll say that when we evaluate your assignment, this will be the very important part. Whether students can provide appropriate strategies, right? Appropriate strategies, in this case for the organizations in Malaysia, to implement the right type of leadership, not any type of leadership, right? So when you conduct the research, when you search for information, you should be able to determine the right type of leadership that can enhance the innovation activities, not just any type of leadership, all right? So how to do that? Right, so now, in order to complete the assignment, so example, let's say this is your assignment. Now, in order to complete the assignment and of course, to get a very good grade, and the outcome, remember the important outcome is for you to gain knowledge, right? In this case, knowledge related to the type of leadership that can contribute to innovation activities, right? So over here we have outlined a number of steps here, a total 7 steps. The first step is, in order to improve your research skills, define your research according to the assignment, right? So when you say define your research according to the assignment, remember, you need to really emphasize on what the question asks and what is the important point that you need to focus for you to know what to research, right? So by defining your research and understanding how it relates to the specific field of study, it can give more context to the situation. So understand how it relates to the specific field of study. So I think from the assignment question is quite clear. Here, it looked from the type of leadership, right? Type of leadership and how it can contribute to innovation activities. So from this assignment, I believe that for you to focus on the subject area is very straightforward. It's looking at the type of leadership, okay? Nothing else. And some assignment, it can cover few parts, right? So if a certain questions ask you on the few parts, you need to clearly outline them, okay? For example, the first one is type of leadership considered effective. The second part is what? Third part is what, and so on, right? So you need to clearly define your research according to the assignment, particularly on which specific field of study. So our case, it is from the leadership, the style of leaderships. So next, you break down the assignment. The most difficult part of the research process is actually just getting started, okay? So by breaking down your research into realistic and achievable parts, it can help you achieve your goals and stay systematic. So when you do a research, whether it's just an assignment or if it is a dissertation, I'm sure like some of the lecturers who have joined here, they already completed the master's, okay? So probably they want to contribute something based on their experience. Of course, they can tell that breaking down your research into realistic and achievable parts are important, but sometimes it's not that easy, especially when you conduct literature review. Because when you conduct literature review, when you search for information, you're getting a lot of information, all right? So for example, in our case, related to leadership style, so when you read the type of leadership, you're going to gather a lot of leadership style, all right? So between this leadership style, which one is effective? Which one is less effective? Which one is not effective? And among the leadership style, maybe certain leadership style can be considered effective in certain type of countries. So for example, we have developed countries, developing countries. So certain type of leadership may be effective in developed countries because maybe the employees are more independent. So in that case, maybe the democratic type of leadership more effective, right? But in certain countries where the employees have issues related to attitude and so on. If let's say the employees have issues related to attitudes and so on, probably you want to consider maybe autocratic type of leadership. You need to force them, all right? So what you need to do is you need to really break down into certain area within this type of leadership. So break down the assignment. So once from the literature review, you clearly break down into certain parts, certain areas, and so on. Then you'll be much clearer. Okay, what exactly the information that you need. So in which area the leadership style is effective, which countries, which type are effective. Maybe for then you also can divide, for example, the level of the employees. For low level, maybe different type of leadership style effective. For higher level, it could be different style. So, but if you don't do all this, you just generalize. You just generalize that, oh, transformational type of leadership is most effective. See, you did not evaluate in terms of country level. As I mentioned just now, different country, they may have a different type of leadership, effective for the people, because the cultural are different. And for different level of employees, the type of leadership can be different. Their effectiveness can be different. So you only can achieve all this only when you collect enough information and you're able to break down them into several parts. Right, next, start broad, then dive into the specifics, all right? So when you say start broad, then dive into specifics means, let me just go through first. Researching is a big task, so it can be overwhelming to know where to start. There's nothing wrong with a basic internet search, like we mentioned, like Google and Wikipedia. However, while not always accurate, a great way to orient yourself in a topic, since they usually give a basic overview of a brief history and key points, right? So it's nothing wrong to start with a basic internet search like Google and Wikipedia. So for example, you just can search first, okay, types of leadership. So you Google search, maybe the Google search will give you 15 types of leadership. Or you go to Wikipedia, maybe it will give you 20 types of leadership, right? So that's the first point. So at least you know how many types of leadership are there, right? So class, just a quick exercise. Now, can you go to Google search? Go to Google search. Can you just get, I just need maybe some like numbers. How many types of leadership that you can search? Maybe I'll give you like 1 or 2 minutes. I hope everyone will participate. So go to now, just Google search. How many types of leadership styles that you can find from your Google search or from Wikipedia? Just now, based on what you guys have shared just now, maybe less than 10, right? So now can you all go to, how many types can you all search? Mazy, autocratic, authoritative, pace setting, democratic, coaching, affiliate, laissez-faire. So 7, Mazy found 7, Roshan got about 10. How about others? How many types of leadership? Just from Google search. Maladi, there are 9, 7, 12, Kegwan, 12, or Kegwan can find 12, all right? Michael Tan, 7. Jajun, 10. Maybe a few more. How about others? Just sing the same names only. How about others? Students, the quite number of students, right? Yongying, 7. Emilia, 7. Wani, 5. Wow, Wani only 5. Hamida, 8. Okay, so now I can see the numbers. The highest one is 12 from K1, I guess, from 12. Some mention 5, some mention 7, and so on, right? So it means that when you Google search, either from Wikipedia, you got around maybe from 5 to 12, all right? Later I'll share with you from one journal article, how many type of leadership style that article have mentioned, right? Can be more than 12 or can be maybe less than 12, all right? Okay, let's continue. So the answer later I'll share with you. Well, I'll share with you one journal where it has listed down quite a number of leadership style. Okay, next, learn how to recognize a quality source. Yeah, now, so of course here if we mention that, we can start always with Google search and Wikipedia, but this is important. Learn how to recognize a quality source. Not every source is reliable. Please remember this class. Huh? And I would say that many of our students, when they do research, I mean, when research for information, they just take information from any sources, right? So not every source is reliable. So it's crucial that you can recognize the good sources from the not so good ones. And of course, to determine what is reliable, what is less reliable, you need to use your analytical skills and critical thinking, all right? And which later I'll share with you briefly how to do some critical thinking. When you say critical thinking, that's where you will do evaluative. You're able to evaluate the information, whether the information is acceptable or you need to search for more information and so on. Okay. One good example is like what y'all answered just now. How many types of leadership? Can see or not? Some say 5, some say 7, some say 8, some say 12. But I believe all of you have the same source, that is Google search. From the Google search, some got 5, some got 12. So how this is possible? This all depends on the keywords that you use and so on. All right. So to use analytical skill and critical thinking and ask yourself the following questions. Does this source agree with other sources? Hope you understand clear with this one. Does this source agree with other sources? So it means that when you read Journal A, if Journal A says that a transformational leadership style is most effective, and you stop there. You stop there because you only refer to Journal A. So your conclusion will be what? In order to improve the innovation activities, transformational type of leadership is the most effective. That's your conclusion. Why? Because you only search that one journal article. All your information comes from that one journal article. All right? But here you need to know that probably in this case, that one journal article probably is not reliable. Or second thing, maybe it is effective in developed country. Maybe the research was done in, let's say, Finland. All right? Probably in Finland, which is a European country, probably the transformational type of leadership is effective. But we are talking about in Malaysia, all right? So now what you need to do is you need to search for other sources, particularly in developing countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, China, India, and so on. We are developing country. So developing country and in the context of Asian countries, not European countries. So in this case, you need to search a number of articles, maybe one done in Europe, one done probably in US, one done in China, in India, in Malaysia, Thailand. You do comparison, all right? You do comparison, then only you can decide. Okay, so does this source agree with other sources I have found? So now ask yourself, the one in Finland, they spoke about transformational leadership. But how about the one conducted in China? Is it the same type of leadership? How about in India? Is it the same type of leadership? If yes, then you can say that yeah, transformational leadership, no matter whether it is from the developing countries perspective or developed countries perspective, it is effective, all right? Whether it's a European country or Asian countries, it is effective. But let's say the one article from China, it found that probably autocratic, okay? Autocratic type of leadership is effective. The one in India, let's say democratic type of leadership is effective. Now you can see or not, 3 journals conclude 3 different type of leadership. One, transformational. The other one, democratic. The other one, autocratic. So which one you're going to refer to, right? So that's called the skill that require. Okay, you should be able to find a number of journals. All right, because if you just refer to one journal, maybe it's not reliable, or maybe that is not appropriate to be applied in our context, because we are Asian country, we are developing country. All right, our cultural is different, and so on. Okay, this is an example. All right, are you clear so far? Why we need to search from different journals, from different areas if possible? That is called analytical skills and critical thinking. So critical thinking in this case, you are able to think critically in the context of different culture. So you can conclude that which one is effective depends on their culture, or depends on the status of the country. So like developed country, maybe transformational is more effective. Developing country, like now China, the problem is China say autocratic. In India, study in India shows that democratic. Now you need to search for more journals, all right? So it means that when you do research, should not be satisfied with just one or two journals. You need to keep on search for more and more. Same goes to, of course, I'm referring to any assignment or any dissertation. In general, we talk about research, no matter whether assignment or thesis or dissertation. Any questions so far, class, about this? Because I'll say to do a good research, this is one of the skill required, analytical skills and critical thinking. Okay, means that you should be able to search journals from different contexts, different perspective, then do comparison. Only then you can make conclusion. Until then, never be satisfied. Never be satisfied with just one or two. Any questions so far? Are you clear? So in the future, I hope students always will search for more and more journals. It's not just based on one or two journals, right? Okay, so let me continue then. Okay, next, as what actually we discussed just now, verify information from several sources. This is what I mentioned just now. So the internet is a big place, and for the most part, anyone can say whatever they want online. I can say what I like, what I believe. Another person can say what he likes or she likes, what she believes, and so on. So many websites don't evaluate their content for factual accuracy. Please remember, class. That's why we discourage students from just refer to any website. Because if you say, talk about website, any websites, they just publish anything, right? They don't evaluate the content, right? So once again, to conduct a good research, to have a good skill, make sure you know from where to source. So later I'll come to journal articles. So that's why we always emphasize on journal articles, not just from any website. But for the beginning, is fine. I repeat, for the beginning, is fine. Start from Google search, Wikipedia, and so on. But gradually, you need to move to journal articles, all right? So this means that there are plenty of unreliable sources out there. The best way to combat this is to make sure that whatever you find in your research, several different sources can verify that it is true. That's what I mentioned just now, right? Okay, now be open to surprising answers. If you can reach this level, then we can say that you have moved to another level, all right? Means that your research definitely have better value compared to other students, right? Okay, what I mean by be open to surprising answers? Let's just briefly go through. Good research is all about finding answers to your research questions, okay? Means that what exactly you want to find from your research. Like in our case, we want to know the type of leadership which is considered effective in enhancing the innovation activities among employees in Malaysia, right? So good research is all about finding answers to your research question, not necessarily as a way to verify what you already think you know. Yeah, most of the students, sorry to say, all right, they're always satisfied with what they know. I repeat, A lot of students, they're satisfied with what they know. Even I would say that even some, those who are doing research at a degree level or master's level, even at master's level, because from my experience teaching MBA students, completing their dissertation and so on, some students always, they argue. So this is what being practiced in my company. Example, this is type of leadership being practiced in my company. My managers they practice the democratic style, all right? And they believe, oh, democratic style is the best, all right? Why? Because they only want to know what they know, all right? They do not want to know beyond that. Then always my question is, then why you want to do masters, all right? Or those who are doing degree now, why you want to do degree when you just want to discuss what you know, all right? Therefore, we always need to search for information, do research to enhance our knowledge, all right? So one way to do this, let's continue. Solely looking for confirmation is a very limiting research strategy. Look at this sentence. Solely looking for confirmation is a very limiting research strategy. It means that you just want to confirm what you already know. So example, let's say like some mentioned that about transformational leadership. So you know transformational leadership can transform the employee's behavior, all right? So you suggest transformational leadership is the most effective way to enhance the innovation activity. See class, you already know about transformation, okay? Transformation leadership style, where a manager or where a leader can transform the employee's behavior so they can encourage the innovation activities and so on. But that's what you already know. You already know about that type of leadership. Why not search for new type of leadership, or not to say new, different type of leadership where probably you never come across before, right? So if let's say now you, example at a managerial level, you are doing a research and you know transformational leadership style is effective. But now you're supposed to go to another level, find a new type or different type of leadership where if you implement in your organization, you can definitely improve the employee's behavior better than transformational type of leadership, all right? But how to know this? Again, search for more information. Search for something new, something that you do not know. So solely looking for confirmation is a very limiting research strategy, since it involves picking and choosing what information to collect and prevent you from developing the most accurate understanding of the topic, right? So basically talking the same thing. Don't just do what you already know, okay? So next, when you conduct research, make sure to keep an open mind so that you can learn as deeply as possible, right? So as I mentioned just now, later I'll share with you the sum of the type of leadership, even I never come across before that, right? But when I look at that journal, suddenly I found, wow, there are so many type of leadership, and some type of leadership are very interesting, right? So I think that's a question, I guess. GK, how many research journal citation for each attribute in literature review are required if the literature review has 5 attributes? Okay, so if let's say you're talking about 5 attributes, usually my advice for degree student at the bachelor level. At bachelor level, usually if let's say you're able to find enough journals, for each attributes at least support with 3 journals. Means that 3 sources, if at a bachelor level, right? And at master's level, if you are able to find enough support, at least go for 5 sources. Means that 5 sources mean from 5 different journals as your citation, right? So at the bachelor level, because of course we don't expect them to cite many, yeah, okay? So it's maybe sufficient like 3. But at master's level, it is good that for each attributes, in order for you to develop your hypothesis, okay, you go for like at least about four to five citations, right? The reason is because GK, sorry, I'm not sure what level are you? Are you lecturer? Sorry, GK, are you lecturer? Hello? MBA, yeah? Okay, so if let's say at MBA level, level, in order to do a critical evaluation, now imagine if you have a 5 literatures, at least you can try to say that, okay, maybe 3 sources support your hypothesis. And at the same time, always remember, at a master's level, it's always also good to find some journals that say that do not support the hypothesis. So if let's say now you have 5 sources, it's good at least 3, maybe 3 or 4 to support the hypothesis. 1 or 2 do not support the hypothesis. The reason because later in your finding, when you go to chapter 5, when you want to discuss, imagine let's say your finding shows hypothesis not supported. So when hypothesis not supported, but in your chapter 2 literature review, you have these only 3 articles where all the 3 articles support your hypothesis, but your result shows do not support. So that's where the problem will come, right? Means that the 3 journals that you have cited in chapter 2 all supported, but your finding shows not supported. So now you need to go and dig again more journals to justify, right? So rather than do that, better at the chapter 2 itself, when you conduct literature, try to always find a number of journals where some supported, majority support the hypothesis, maybe 1 or 2 do not support. That's why usually I'll tell my students at least 4 or 5 with mixed result, hopefully with mixed result, okay? But bachelor level, about 3 will do. I hope that's clear, JK? Okay. All right, so let's continue here. So be open to surprising answers. So when say surprising answers mean, you will find maybe 1 or 2 journals where it may say that a different type of leadership, like servant type of leadership. I'm not sure whether you have heard about this type of leadership, servant, right? Servant type of leadership. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 journal may say that servant type of leadership is most effective. Now you'll be surprised. Wow, I read so many journals, 15, 16 journals. Some say transformational, some say democratic, and so on. But this 1 or 2 journal, or these 2 journals, they said servant type of leadership is most effective. Then do not ignore this journal. Because when we say your research skill, remember, research skill, one of the important skill is what? To evaluate. So read this journal. Why this journal says servant type of leadership is one of the most effective compared to transformational, compared to transactional and others, right? So when you can find something new which is less explored, by right, you should read more and try to go in more deeper, try to read in more details. Why do you think servant type of leadership is more effective? Because I can, generally, again, from our experience, when I talk to other lecturers as well, who supervise bachelor students, dissertation students, many students, they tend to choose topic or collect information, again, based on what they know. When they see something new, like servant type of leadership, they totally ignore. All right, they totally ignore. They don't want to explore this because they never come across this. Actually, doing a research, something that you do not know. Only then you will gain knowledge. All right. So hope you are very clear with these students. Right. Remember the purpose we do research. One of the main purpose is for us to gain knowledge in that particular research area. Any questions so far? listed here is to stay organized. All right, stay organized means once you have collected your information from various sources and so on, you should be able to organize them, right? So during the day and so on, keep all of this information organized. Remember that, very important. In some way to prevent yourself from losing something or not being able to cite something properly. This is from my own experience. From my own experience, when I completed my master's, my PhD, many times, after I read one or two, let's say a particular journal, I just, what's that? Close. Close that journal. Then when in the future, after 1 or 2 weeks, I want to search for that journal to get information, I couldn't search, right? I couldn't, locate in which folder and so on. So because of that, it wasted a lot of time, right? And I'm sure some of you probably this file, that file, and so on. Means that it's not systematic, right? So please avoid that. Please be organized. There are plenty of ways to keep your research project organized, but here are a few common ones. Bookmarks in your internet browser. Okay, one way, of course, you have the internet browser. You can bookmark. You can keep a proper bibliography. That is, you can come up with a list, the author, the year, the title, and so on. And even now, we can use a number of software, all right, which you can download for free. One of them is Zotero, right? Where Zotero will help you to manage bibliographic data and related research materials. Is that you can download this for free, okay? Through Zotero also you can find a number of journals, good journals. So that Zotero will help you to find a number of journals, and you can use this software to manage your bibliographic data. Means that you can manage all your sources, right? So my advice is you can just download this software, and of course I'm not going to guide you how to manage your bibliographic data. You just can go to like YouTube to find how to use this Zotero, right? But it will be very useful in order to manage all your sources and in a very systematic way. It also will help you to find some journals and so on, right? Okay, so if you look at these 7 steps, it briefly explain that how to, collect proper information, right? Information when you conduct a research. Is that briefly to explain to you, that is, when you conduct a research, of course, you need to start with collecting the information, but you need to know what information to collect, right? So in order to summarize them, remember first, you be clear with what the research area that you're doing. For example, in our case, is leadership style. Then next, you need to know what are you going to find, okay? Example, the question says, determine the type of leadership for innovation purpose. So it's good that you find journals related to leadership style in innovation, which I will shortly will share with you how to find those things and so on. And second thing, do not satisfy with just 2 or 3 journals. Do not satisfy with just few journals. Keep on search. And please do not just limit yourself to what you know. Always look beyond that, okay? Because if you just wish to do analysis based on what you know, means that you're not adding any value to yourself, right? You're not going to enhance knowledge. And in terms of getting good marks also, I don't think you're going to get good marks, because what you're going to do is most probably will be your friends also going to do the same thing, right? So if I look at the work of the students, let's say 20 students, they work almost the same theory, almost the same type of leadership. I don't think any students that deserve like A or very, very high marks, because it's nothing new there, right? Just explaining what you know, right? Or what has been taught in the class, okay? And then always look for some additional things, additional knowledge, right? And always able to do some comparison. Please do comparison. For example, when we do research, always remember employees' behavior, customers' behavior are always different from country to country due to the cultural difference and so on. Okay, so if you're getting a lot of journals based on US, based on Europe, but you are doing research in Malaysia, Asian context, all right, a developing country. So our mentality, our behavior are different. So you need to find a mix of journals to understand the context from different perspectives, right? So class, in the next session, I'm going to move to how to collect information from journals, right? First of all, how to search for journals, because I believe a lot of our students, like diploma students, as well as some bachelor students, still not clear from where to find this or download the journal articles, good journal articles. Once download, what to do with these journal articles and so on. So next I'll share with that. And I think, shall we take a 5 minutes break? Just a 5 minutes break. Then I'll continue. I definitely need a break. Okay, so please be back now. Based on my watch is 3:03. So I'll continue at 3:08. So in 5 minutes time, right? So if you have any questions and so on, please prepare some questions, right, to post. So I'll share later, all right? Okay, so I'll meet again after 5 minutes.
Hello, Dr. Balu.
Yes, Mr. Krishna.
Are we going for a break now?
Yeah, just 5 minutes, but we still can continue with this.
I'm not going to end the meeting. I'll just on it then.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just need to stop, pause the recording. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sir.
So I'll continue maybe in 3 or 4 minutes time.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Then how about the? I can just do it in online. Is it the ECS? ESC.
Hello, Mr. Krishna. Sorry.
Sorry, Dr. Balu. I forget to mute.
Okay. All right. So students, let's continue, right? So next, I'd like to share with you how to access to journals, right? So as earlier, based on some of the responses from students, yes, some say, okay, journal articles, and but where to access the journal articles? Quite a number of you mentioned that either Google search or Google Scholar, right? And of course, some mentioned that UOS library, if you're Sunderland University students, and so on, right? So let me share with you now. Okay, for the homegrown programs, especially like diploma students. For diploma students, of course, you cannot access to Sunderland Library or even a Greenwich. So for diploma students, 1 minute, let me open this. Yeah, so I hope I'm at the BB Blackboard screen right now. Hope everyone can view the same screen. Okay, particularly for diploma students. For diploma students who do not have access to like a University of Sunderland's website and so on, in order to download the journals, all right, the journal articles, you can, here, you go to institution page. sorry, a bit slower. Okay, you go to institution page, and here you can access to various database. You can access to various database, and here show all 22, that about 22 databases. And of course, some of them probably is less relevant, like access medicine and so on. You're not going to go to those database. So here there are a number of good database where you can get some quality journals, such as Emerald, ProQuest, here, ProQuest, EBSCOhost, Taylor and Francis, as well as JSTOR, right? So even for our SECI students, like diploma students and so on, so you can access to a number of databases for you to access to the complete list of journals. One minute. The complete list of, sorry, I need to charge my battery. Okay, all right. Yeah, so I strongly recommend that students, you go here, go to institution page, then you can use this link for you to access to journals, right? Meanwhile, for University of Sunderland students, library.sunderland.ac.uk over here. Because the reason for Sunderland students, the advantage, of course, you have more access compared to the one listed in the Blackboard. Just now I showed to you, the one listed in the Blackboard, only about 22 databases. The one here, University of Sunderland, here, you want to look at the database, you can go here, databases. Sorry, a bit slow. Sorry guys, it's a bit slow, database. Now over here now you can see here, when you use the University of Sunderland's library, you have a long list of databases here. You have a long list of databases compared to the one in BB, right? So since you have a long list of databases, and some of them like Sage journals, which cannot be found in BB, these are more useful, right? So those who are like bachelor level, those who are doing a Sunderland program, same goes to UOG. If there are any UOG students, you always can go to your UOG library, then access to the journals based on a long list of databases. This is another good one, a really online library. You can access as a very good journals, a recent one, and so on, right? So my advice is for diploma students, from now onwards, don't just go to like Google Scholar, Google Search, and so on. You're strongly advised go to the in BB institution page. Then from the 22 list, you can choose like EBSCOhost, Emerald, and so on. And for Sunderland students, please go to your library, Sunderland library, to access to, I would say, just a complete list of database, more complete, instead of just going to Google Scholar and so on. Okay. All right. So let's say now how to search. Because one of your important skill in research is to search for the right information. Okay, that is important, to go to the right information. Okay, let me go back to the home. Let me use this library, University of Library website. Okay. Plus now, can someone share with me based on the topic, based on the topic that we are going to, based on the assignment topic that I shared with you, what are the keywords that you like to enter here? Because one of your research skill is entering the right keywords. So what is the keyword that you're going to enter here to search for the journals? Anyone like to share? What's the keyword you like to enter? What's the keyword? Effective leadership. Okay, Jiajun said effective leadership. How about others? A style of leadership. Chinkat, style of leadership. Thanks, Jiajun. Chinkat. How about others? Michael, good, Michael. I expect that because the word innovation also must be there. Because the reason we are going to analyze the effective leadership style to increase what? To increase innovation. So it means that these two keywords are very important. If you just type the style of leadership, your articles will be very much related to the type of leadership or leadership style only, right? It won't be related much to the innovation things. So since our topic related to these two, type of leadership, innovation. So these two keywords are important, right? So good, Jiajun, Chinkat, Michael, Roshan, innovation activities, yes, all right. So these are the keywords that we are going to enter. So what you do, instead of go to database, choose a specific journal, we keep it open. So what you can do here is you go to home, you can enter here, you choose journal articles. Because we want information, we want articles from journal, not books or ebooks, right? So click these journal articles. Same thing if you search for, what's that? Using our Blackboard. Using our Blackboard, you can go to Emerald or EBSCO. You can do something similar to this. So over here, what I do, first I want to type innovation. Okay, innovation. Later, I'll type leadership. So I'll just type innovation. Let me search. Innovation, leadership. Sorry, start with innovation first. It's a bit slow over here. All right, so innovation. However, you will know that when you type innovation, it's all the articles here related to what? Innovation. But where to add the word leadership style? So I'll go here, advanced search. It's not advanced search, so go to advanced search. Now here you can add leadership style, right? Leadership style. So I can choose from here, leadership style. Okay. So innovation as well as leadership style. If let's say now class, now okay, you can either stop here, because if you stop here, you search, then of course you can able to find journals, a number of journals related to innovation and leadership style. Okay. But however, if let's say I want to be more precise, I just give you an example how to fine tune your research. Where you search keywords. If let's say since our topic is something in Malaysia, so I want to know, are there any research done in Malaysia related to this area or not? All right. Later I can leave it more open. I can just stop at these two and can find any journals. Doesn't matter whether conducted here or Europe or US and so on. But now let's say I want to find journals done in Malaysia, right? So I have these three. You want to add, you can just plus, you can add more research keywords. Let me stop here, right? So innovation leadership style Malaysia. Okay, now I search. All right, so I have the search result. However, class, another important point here is, okay, I just want a full text here. I want a full text here, right? Full text. Is that the one I can access? Full text means the one I can access, because sometimes certain journal cannot be accessed. All right, full text. And very important is this. See, always remember class, very important. When you search for journals, always your priority is for the most recent one, right? When you say most recent one, usually for bachelor level, even master's level, it's okay if you're looking at the last 3 years. Last 3 years mean you start with 2018 onwards, okay? However, doesn't mean all your journals, it must be in the last 3 years, no, okay? Probably if let's say, example, you have about 20 journals, you plan to search for 20 journals, maybe 10 journals is in the last 3 years, maybe another 5 in the last 5 or 10 years. You also can download certain number of journals, which is maybe 30 years ago, 20 years ago, where you can search for the original journal, which have talked about that particular theory. So if you have a few journals quite outdated, like 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, still okay. But hopefully about 50% of your journals is either in the last 3 or 5 years. So what I'll do here is I'll set the duration here. So 2018, I want 2018, 19, 20. Of course, some journals publication, next year's publication already been published, all right? Okay. So 2018 to 2021. I just want the last 3 years. All right, so let's say any journal or not, done in Malaysia. Yes, okay. Roles of leadership styles and relationship-based employee governance in open service innovation, right? Of course, this is related to service industry, but the keyword is what? Leadership style, innovation. So evidence from Malaysian service sector. So what is important here is which sector is not important. At least now I have one journal to begin with, which have discussed relationship between the leadership style and innovation. Okay, so now you want next step is what? For you to see whether this journal is going to be effective or not. I understand quite a number of you are. Most of you are at the bachelor level, right? For bachelor level students, all right? Remember, always remember, when you want to read a journal, don't straight away download the full text yet. Read the abstract, all right? So your next step is what? You want to read the abstract, just click. Because once you read the abstract, you roughly can determine whether this journal is going to be effective or not effective. Okay, the description is the abstract. Hope you can read this, quite small. Right, the purpose of this paper is to investigate the relationship of leadership style. Okay, so this journal have focused on 3 types of leadership: paternalistic, authentic, and democratic. Okay, based on what students, most of you have mentioned the type of leadership, democratic, I think quite a number of you mentioned that. But how many of you have mentioned about this type of leadership? Paternalistic, authentic. So from here, when you look at this type of leadership, paternalistic, authentic, so you should know, wow, this journal is looking from a different type of leadership style, not just the common one, the transformational, transactional, and so on. Okay? Looking at paternalistic type, authentic, and democratic. So from that itself has given a good perspective about this journal, right? I'm going to learn something new. So class, remember, but some students, some students, when they look at this word, oh, what is paternalistic, authentic? Oh, this one I never read before. My lecturer never teach before. So I do not want this journal. I just want to read journals which I'm familiar. No, all right? That is, as I earlier said, then you're not going to enhance your knowledge. So with relationship-based employee governance and open service innovation, right? Forget about this employee governance. Our focus is the word innovation is there. So we want to know whether this paternalistic type of leadership, authentic type of leadership, democratic type of leadership will contribute to the innovation activity or not, right? So based even from the first sentence itself, I know, okay, this article is going to be useful for me, right? So I'll search for the full article. So of course, I already download the full article. Let me share with you the article here. This is the article. Okay, so hope all of you can view this article. The title is Roles of Leadership Style and Relationship-Based Employee Governance in Open Service Innovation, Evidence from Malaysian Service Sector. Okay, so of course, the purpose of this journal, I want to understand more about these three types of leadership style. That is the patternistic, as well as the authentic, and one more is the democratic. How these three types of leadership influence innovation. But class again, but you should not stop with one journal. Remember, you should not stop with one journal. So from this journal, I can at least understand about these three types. So next, you need to search for more and more journals. Of course, at the bachelor level, maybe about 20, 30 will be good. At the MBA level, 50 to 100. And of course, at PhD level, I won't say there's a limit, all right? You need to continue to search and search until you're satisfied. There's a literature gap, okay? So, so let's say this is one of the journals that you have now. Remember, the research skill is what? The research skill, one of the research skill is how you critically evaluate the information. Remember the keyword, how you critically evaluate the information. How do you justify, okay, why I need to choose, for example, that three type of leadership compared to other type of leadership. So let's just briefly go through. I'll share with you things that I've highlighted here. Highlighted here that probably will give some important information for me to understand better about the type of leadership and how they are related to innovation, right? And class, remember, this is the part which is very tedious, very difficult. Basically, no matter whether you're doing PhD or MBA or dissertation or any assignment, read journal and summarize the journal, getting the relevant information. This will be the most difficult part. That's why a lot of people, they hate doing research, all right? Okay, but no choice. You should enjoy, okay? Whether you like it or not, you need, please try to enjoy reading the literatures. So example from here, what are the information that I can gather? Okay, recent research has shown that majority of the European and American organizations have embraced open innovation. Open innovation means the innovation not necessarily come from within the organization. They also can hire outsiders. Outsiders means that through some consultation firm and so on to do the innovation for the organization. That's called open innovation. Okay, embrace the open innovation model to build competitive advantage. Literature indicates that leadership plays a vital role in building a competitive advantage. So here you can see or not, these statements are important. Why important? Because this statement shows that leadership style or leadership in general plays a very important role in building the organization's competitive advantage. So if you want your organizations to be successful, very important, the role of leadership. The role of leadership in what? In or related to what? When new initiatives are introduced. When you say new initiative, it related to innovation. Means that in this case, the statement is leadership is important or vital when it comes to innovation. And innovation can contribute to the organization's competitive advantage. So you can clearly justify that the research area that you have chosen, you are looking at relationship, the leadership style and innovation. Here you can justify, this is important to do. Why? Because these are important for the company's long-term survival, sustainability, because they contribute to the competitive advantage, right? So past research has examined the role of different leadership style. Okay, look at this statement, interesting. Past research has examined the role of leadership, a role of different leadership styles, such as what? transformational, transactional, participative. These two, I think quite number of you mentioned earlier. Transformational, transactional. But none of you, I think, mentioned participate. I think one or two mentioned participative, all right? In making organization innovative. So this statement shows that there are many journals have analyzed the role of transformational leadership style, transactional, participative in making innovation, in making organizations innovative. Probably the three that we saw earlier, democratic and so on, probably less people have analyzed. So it's good you explore that's something where people have less explored, all right? So in this case, why you still want to do on transformational, transactional, and so on? Many people have already explored, and we already know that transformational, transactional are important. Let's explore to some new type of leadership style which can contribute to innovation. So let's continue. Of course, all this I've highlighted because I've read through and highlighted some important points. So many studies show that leaders play a key role in the deployment of open innovation as a source of competitive advantage. We already explained that before. Despite these theoretical developments, the influence of leadership style on successful deployment of open innovation. So this actually, it tried to explain the influence of leadership style on the successful deployment of open service innovation has not received its due attention. This statement, I believe, though some lecturers, you understand what it means. It means that there is a literature gap. Literature gap means not many researchers have analyzed how leadership style influence the open service innovation. Maybe they only look at innovation, not open innovation, or lack of studies in the service sector, right? Because I think there's another statement. It says that many studies have focused on manufacturing sector, less on service sector. So those who are doing MBA, or even if one intend to do PhD, this would be one area that you want to explore. Why? Because there are very limited research on the influence of leadership style on open service innovation. There is a literature gap. So at PhD level, or even at dissertation level, when we look something like this, we know, oh, we can explore on this area, all right? But for bachelor level, of course, the literature gap up to this level is not that important. Okay, next, a majority of leadership research has focused on generic leadership styles such as transformational. This statement is very important, class. Students, look at this statement. A majority of leadership research has focused on generic leadership style such as transformational, transactional, and laissez-faire. It's saying that there are many research have been conducted based on this type of leadership. So it means that you want to know whether these three are effective or not, you can get many journals, no issue, all right? You can get many journals. In another word, you will know that your friends also going to find many journals related to the effectiveness of transformational, transactional, laissez-faire, and so on. So now the question is, how your research going to be different? How your assignment going to be different from your friends? Because your friends, those the average so-so student, they're going to get a lot of journals related to transform these three. So what you should do now, you can explore to other type of leadership style. All right, I believe your lecturers will be very, very interested to know more about other type of leadership style instead of just these three: transformational, transactional, laissez-faire, and so on. When I check 20 assignment, let's say 20 assignment, 18 assignment talk about transformational and transactional. But 2 assignments, they have other type as well. So of course, I will definitely give better marks for these 2 students due to their effort, due to their critical evaluation, and so on. So let's continue. The advances in leadership theory in the last 4 decades have resulted in the emergence of new leadership styles, such as what? Paternalistic, democratic, and authentic. So now you know, if you want your assignment to be different, be better than your friends, others, now you can include this type of leadership style. So paternalistic, democratic, and authentic, right? So this is one way to add value to your assignment. So if you have the right research skill, that is to be more critical instead of just follow the ordinary path, getting the easiest one, do the simple one, and so on, right? So now you know there are other type of leadership. So this study focuses on the relationship of this leadership style, that is paternalistic, democratic, and authentic with open service innovation, right? So class, students, particularly to students, are you clear or not how to first from here to get the right journal with the right keywords, right? As I said just now, the two keywords important, innovation and leadership style. Whether you want to add Malaysia or not, you can decide later, right? But at least we know there's one journal done in Malaysia in open service innovation. Later, I think they'll talk about health sector because health sector is a service sector, right? So when you search, when you use the right keywords, you will get the right journals. Okay, that's one. Second, remember, you want to look for the right journals. You just do not want just the ordinary journals and so on. So you look at the abstract. From the abstract, if you can get some, if you know that you can get some new knowledge, all right, go for these journals. But class, important. I never mean that all your 20 journals, example, 20 or 30 or 50 journals must be something unique and so on. That's going to be very, very difficult. I don't think. What I mean is, let's say now, okay, 20 journals. Maybe the 15, 16 journals, quite ordinary, quite the information that you're able to collect, normal information, and so on. But at least a number of journals like this, a number of journals is more different. They look from different perspective. Not like here, I'm sure out of 20 journals, you will get a number of journals related to transformational, some journal on transactional, some on laissez-faire, right? So, however, at the same time, it's good to have a number of journals from different type of leadership, such as this journal on paternalistic, democratic, authentic, and so on, right? So, any questions from here? Are you clear or not? How to add value to your assignment, your dissertation, to your thesis? Okay, in this connection and investigation of open service innovation, okay, let me check. Any questions? Clear, all right, okay. All right, if no questions, then let me continue. I think this part all are not necessary. Okay, I want to share with another journal more interesting. Where is that journal? Yeah, this journal. Once again, no matter whether you are at a diploma, even at diploma level, right? But at bachelor level, minimum at bachelor level, master's level, and so on, it's always good you find this type of paper, we call conceptual paper, right? Conceptual paper, mostly what they do is they just review the literature. They don't collect any new information. Sorry, they don't collect any new data. I repeat, they don't collect any new data. Means that there'll be no primary data, only secondary data. Means that the author will review a lot of journals related to a certain topic. So remember, what is our topic? We want to know the type of leadership style which is effective in improving innovation activities. So always you can search for this word, keyword. For example, in this case, what you can do is the first word, you type innovation in your search. The second one, of course, as what we did just now, you type leadership style. The third one, in addition, you type this word, literature review. Literature review, okay? Based on this, you will be able if hopefully you can, if you can find some journals like this, it means that you'll be able to understand basically the relationship between leadership style, all type of leadership style that influence the innovation activities based on, thanks to these guys, of course, because they have reviewed a lot of journals, Al-Blushi, Shamsu Zaman, they have reviewed a lot of journals related to leadership style and innovation. Okay, so if you get something like this, it'll be very good. So, for example, if you look at this journal, yeah, here, data synthesis and analysis. So this journal have list down all type of leadership style, and also have summarized how each of them influence the innovation activity. They have divided to like directly and indirectly. So you can learn something new. Means that leadership style can influence innovation activity directly or indirectly or both. All right. So this type of journals are very, very useful. All right. So if you look at this, you'll be surprised. I totally surprised with the number of leadership styles. So example, the type of leadership style, transformational, then they have transactional over here, total, yeah, authentic, complexity, charismatic, which is a common, ethical, altruistic leadership, humble leadership, paternalistic, I think we discussed just now, humorous leadership. Yeah, first time I heard about this humorous leadership, and spiritual leadership, cluster leadership. Total, the authors have identified 21 types, no, more than that, 23, is it? Yeah, 23 types of leadership. Could see or not? Just now, I think based on at the beginning when I asked, I think K1, you have listed 12. That's the maximum, 12 types of leadership. All right. Introductible, when we find conceptual meaning, we can shorten the number of journal articles for doing literature. Not really, Intan, because this review done by these two authors, all right, it's their work. But here, one of the advantage here is something like shortcut. You still need to have ample sources, but you can refer to the sources here. For example, let's say you want to discuss about self-leadership. There's only one author. Let's say political leadership, not just an example. So for political leadership, of course, you should not cite the two authors that earlier I shown, the two of them. By right, you should try to find this article, because otherwise, your citation will be mostly secondary citation. All right, means that you just refer to this one journal. That is definitely, it's not acceptable. So kena rajin sikit, kena rajin sikit. Of course, at the end here, you can see the long list of references. Please try to search for the original article. All right, you still need to find for the original article. Cannot take a shortcut. All right, shortcut here is look at the list of references. Try to find the original articles. Then only you can understand more about each type of leadership. Okay, so back to this. So class can see or not, there are 23 type of leadership, and good thing is that the author even have explained how each of these type influence in the summary or discussion part. Have a look. Yeah, here. Even the author have summarized which type of leadership style influence the innovation, whether directly or indirectly, or both directly and indirectly. Right? So imagine if you read this type of journal, you can get a lot of information related to your topic. But again, as what Intan asked, right? Of course, in this case, you should not just cite this article. What you need to do is, for each type of leadership, you want to get more information, please go to this list of references. Try to search for the original articles. But if you just use Google Scholar, I repeat, if you use Google Scholar, let's say, for example, you want this article. If you want this article, if you go to Google Scholar, I don't think you'll be able to download this because it's 2017, quite new. Google Scholar, most very recent articles, I don't think you can download for free, right? But if you go to like maybe our Blackboard, but our Blackboard still quite limited. But if you go to the like a Sunderland library, they have a long list of databases. Quite pretty sure you can access to this journal, all right? So class almost like 3:50 now, another 10 minutes. So in doing a research, as I said, whether your research going to be a quality, going to add value, going to fill up literature gap, or for even to identify the literature gap, what is important is how you conduct the literature review. Means that the information that you are going to gather from the journals means that you first of all need to get the right journals, right journals with the right keywords. I believe you'll be able to get the right journals, and hopefully from now onwards, for the beginning, of course, you can depend on the Google search, Google Scholar, but gradually after you have some basic ideas and so on, let's forget about this Google search, Wikipedia, and so on. Try to look for journals. Even for diploma students, I strongly advise you to start, maybe not 20, 30 journals, maybe 5, 10 journals for the beginning, right? Because later, gradually, when you go to bachelor level, of course, a lot of assignments, we expect students to cite journals, not just any articles, all right? So the sources are very important. And of course, for master's means, definitely we expect maybe 80, 85% of your sources come from journals, all right? And from the journals, what is important, like just now I shared with you, what is important is not just read through and so on. What is very important is to get the right information, get the right information. Okay, I think, hold on, Intan got some question. When we find conceptual paper, you can shorten. Okay, I can't cite the authors of this conceptual paper. Of course, you can cite the authors, Intan. You can cite the authors because you can refer to the reference in the list. But of course, it's not ethical. When let's say if we talk about ethical, definitely it's not ethical. But sometimes we have to take the shortcut, no choice. But other than that, if you look at each of the explanation just now, it's quite brief. Like in terms of political leadership, it's quite brief. So it's good if you can refer to the original journal to understand more about how this political leadership style influence the innovation, easier for you paraphrase and so on. But I can cite the original author, Dr. Balu, how to do LR when there are less journal article on the specific topic. Yeah, so this is good question. How to do literature review when there are less journal article on the specific topic. That's why if you're talking about like PhD, at PhD level, of course, we need to choose a topic where it is less researched, all right? We need to justify that, for example, let's say when come to a political leadership style, very limited research. So we want to explore more, but still they're very limited research, then no choice. No choice, but at PhD level, it's really good. For PhD level, then we can justify because there's a limited research or limited studies. That's why you want to explore more. So when you want to explore more, one way is in turn, you can choose qualitative research instead of quantitative. Because when there's a very limited research done in that particular area, and when you couldn't find to support the hypothesis and so on, the best start with qualitative research, okay? Or another way is what you can do is in turn, we want to analyze about political, style of leadership, maybe it's not in terms of innovation, not the contribution to innovation, but to other activities. Maybe political type of leadership can influence, can motivate the employees or other way, but not in innovation. But you still can. You can still develop hypotheses when you look at the how political type of leadership can influence or enhance a human behavior. All right. So based on that, you can say that because of a political type of leadership can enhance human behavior in certain aspect based on the journals that you have reviewed. So you can hypothesize that, therefore, it is expected that political type of leadership can also influence the innovation activities. Why innovation activities also related to behavior, all right? So if you cannot find journal specific to these two relationships, state leadership style and innovation, so you can maintain the leadership style, but you can refer to other contexts, not in terms of innovation, but other contexts. But from there, you can justify why you hypothesize that political leadership style expected to also influence innovation behavior. Is it okay, Intan? Got some idea? Yes, all right, okay. But if really cannot justify, still cannot support and so on, the best is start from qualitative research, all right? Start from interviews and so on, okay? But to do quantitative, yes, no choice. You must have a number of sources to support your hypothesis, but it can be from different contexts. Not necessarily must be in the same context, like for example, leadership style and innovation. Okay, so class, so another 7 minutes. Right, so of course, I wanted to share more things about these research skills. Of course, with 2 hours, definitely it's not enough. So my focus today is especially for diploma and bachelor students, how to search for the right journals using maybe the right keywords, and very important to get the right information. Okay, like the information just now I shared with you here, the one I've highlighted here. So when you read a journal, it's good you highlight some important information. So like this statement, a majority of leadership research has focused on generic leadership styles such as transformation, transactional, but very less on the other type of leadership style, like paternalistic, democratic, authentic, and so on. So when you research, when you read journals, always go for this type of information, okay? Once you establish this type of information, don't forget to read the discussion part, very important, especially for bachelor level. Bachelor level, maybe you're not so concerned about hypothesis, but at least look at the discussion level. Discussion, what they found. How is the relationship between now the paternalistic type of leadership? Is it influence the innovation practice or not, and so on, right? So always read the discussion part. Discussion part will provide you a lot of information at bachelor level. But of course, at master's level, you no choice. Master's level and PhD level, basically, if you think this journal is relevant, you basically need to cover all the sections, all the parts, especially like how to measure each type of all the variables in developing hypothesis, right? So you can see here a number of hypotheses, number of sources were supported in order to justify your hypothesis instead of just 2 or 3. All right. So class, just another, sorry, not class, students and lecturers, just another 5 minutes only. So I hope you have really gained something from this session. But of course, my focus is more to the students at as I said, at a diploma or more to the bachelor level. I hope the students at diploma students, bachelor students, you have gained something from this session, how to search for the right journals, right information, and how to add value to your assignment, right? So do you have any questions? And before end the session, please scan this QR code. Please scan this QR code, and this for your attendance as well as to provide the feedback. Meanwhile, have any questions? Any questions? We still have about 2-3 minutes. If no questions, then thank you very much for joining the session and also for your participation, and really hope that you gain something from this session. All right. Okay, Mr. Krishna, I'd like to hand over to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Balu. Thank you for your time and effort. I believe that the students have benefited from this workshop, and also the lecturers also have gained something. So those who have participated in this workshop, please scan this QR code mainly for your attendance, feedback, and also for your digital certificate. So if you don't scan, you don't key in your attendance, most probably you are not going to get any digital certificate from us. So please do scan so that we can actually send you the digital certificate as soon as possible.